everybody, and welcome to my gear and progression guide. It is November 7th, 2024, and a lot has changed in BDO in the recent past. So we're going to cover from start to finish, the beginning to the end game in BDO. It's going to be timestamped the whole way. So no matter where you are, you can go directly to where you are in the guide and see what your next gear path is in the world of Black Desert Online. Let's get into it. All right, so you're a new player. You go through the main story, follow the Black Spirit Ball guy, right? You're gonna get all the way through Medaya. You're like, where Medaya? Me no know where Medaya is. Okay, so you keep following the main storyline until you finish. This is Calpheon over here on the map. Eventually, you'll know what all these places are. This is Calpheon over here. Okay, this is Medaya. Okay, once you finish this quest line in this region, then you're going to put on Tuvala. Okay, but along the way, you're gonna get something called Naru Gear. As you're doing the main story, you're gonna do something called Naru Gear. Okay, you're gonna get Naru Gear for every piece of your gear slot. There we go. You're gonna get these as you do the main story. You're just gonna keep doing it. They're gonna keep giving them to you. They're gonna give you these things called beginner Blackstones. You're just gonna just throw it in there. Don't use fail stacks on these. You just open up your little black spirit and you just keep clicking that button. The little left arrow button next to your M is in Mary key on your keyboard. You click enhancement, you throw the Naru in there, and away you go. You just bam, bam, bam. You just keep clicking it until it hits pin, okay? Keep going with it, all right? You're going to get something called Naru Accessories, okay? And it's important that you don't enhance these. If you enhance these, everyone in your guild is going to call you an idiot. Okay, and in fairness, you are one. No touchy. You can put them on at base if you don't have anything for the slot. That's fine. You no touchy the Naru. Okay, the accessories. The gear itself, sure, but the Naru accessories are completely useless. Don't waste anything on those. Don't go into those. Nobody cares. Okay, nobody cares. So you're really not going to use the Naru accessories except to wear them when you need to. You'll get various accessories as you do the main storyline that are better than those anyway. I'm looking for them in here. What are they called? Oh, there it is. The red crystal sand ring. Yes. Okay, you're gonna get these as you do the main story. I think you get these for the Kama Sylvia and the Valencia quest lines. Okay, so after you finish the Medaya quest line, okay, you're gonna move on to the Valencia questline, and then you're gonna do the Kama Sylvia questline. So you'll probably grab these red crystal sand rings. If you don't get these, don't worry about it. Just kind of wear whatever accessories you need to, right? Your accessories don't matter like a lot in the early game. They really don't. I don't even remember what is the name of this thing. There it is, the Forest Eye earring. Yeah, that's what these look like. Okay, it's very important that you make a seasonal character when you start the game. If you don't know what a seasonal character is, I recommend looking at my beginner guide for BDO. Make sure you're starting on a seasonal character. If the next question out of your mouth is, what if I started on a normal character because I'm an idiot and the game recommended it to me, but I'm an Ameritard? Not a problem. Literally just make another character and start over. It's not going to matter. Just make another character and start over. Even if you're at level even if you're already like level 40 or 50, you're just starting back over. Okay, and honestly, even at level 56, because you need to get to the Tuvala. You've got to get the Tuvala. Is extremely important. Okay, so after you finish the main story, Medaya particularly, because we talked about the Medaya questline, it's going to give you a bunch of beginner Blackstones, and you're going to be able to enhance your Naru to pen. Woo! All done. Okay, your Naru will be pen. And presumably, you'll also probably close to be level 56. And at level 56, you're going to do the Awakening questline. You're going to do the Awakening questline for your character, and the Awakening questline is going to give you a Pry Tuvala Ad Sphere, or, well, Pry Tuvala Awakening Weapon. This is a witch. I'm using a witch because I main witch. I swear to God, I main witch. I also main Dark Knight too, so, like, it is what it is. This is what we're using. This is just the one that came up. And actually, I'm going to make my webcam a little bit smaller so that you can see the numbers. Number up good in video. Number up good. There we go. So you're going to get this Tuvala here. And then when you hit Pen Naru, the game is going to ask you. Hey, do you want to upgrade this to Tuvala? Yes, you do, game. Every time. Okay, you're going to do that every time. You're just going to take the Pry Tuvala. Your Naru is going to turn into Pry Tuvala. And you're going to be able to do this. By the way, getting to this point right here is going to take a couple days. This is not going to take you very long. This is not going to take you very long. But like a lot of players are really confused about how to get here, so we're just doing this slowly. We're kind of getting through this. Okay. First alchemy stone or alchemy stones that you're going to wear in the game. They're called spirit stones. You're just going to put them on. Boom. They expire. All right. So like you can only, they're one-time use kind of deals. You just turn them on. They have 50 charges. And then when they expire, they're done. But when they run out of durability, you need to grind them out. Don't just throw them away when they turn red. You can grind them up into mythical spirit powder, which you'll use later to gas up your better alchemy stones. Okay. So now you're on full seasonal mode, okay? So as you go through the rest of the main story and you start grinding, you're going to be going out to your grind spots. You're going to start exploring the game a lot more. You're going to start exploring Tuvala accessories. You're going to be finishing your season pass in the top right because the game introduces you that to you pretty quickly. As you level up, you're going to get a lot of rewards as well. And the biggest things you're going to get are Tuvala accessories, okay? The Tuvala necklace is probably one of the most important ones because it's going to give you a lot of AP. Early on, but I will warn you, we're going to cover this in a second. The game's going to give you Tuvala of your choice for free. It's going to give you like 1 pen Tuvala ring. It's 1 pen Tuvala earring. And to be clear, Try Tuvala is given to you basically for free now, at least for armors and weapons. They just like, it's free. They just give it to you. So like the moment that you get this to pry, you need to just immediately tap it to try. Okay, so all of your Tuvala should never be sitting at pry for any reason. You just click them to try. It's 100% chance. You can't go wrong. Easy peasy. Okay, and you see, look how quickly you're getting AP. Look at it. Wow, this is crazy. Woo! Now we can go out and grind. Okay, so like, and as you grind, you're going to be enhancing these accessories. 1 hour of grinding is going to get you like 2 of these accessories, like on God. Just make sure you're grinding it as on a seasonal server, okay? Around this time, when you start to go grind for the first time, you're going to be looking at these slots and going, okay? And that's totally fine. You're going to want to get extra AP against monsters. You're going to get one of these from the Black Spirit. You're just going to open your Black Spirit. He's going to be like, here you go. And then he's going to give it to you, okay? The other one, you just have to go out and grind for. It'll drop. It'll get there. You'll be fine. You want 2 AP against monsters. And all you want to do, you're like, okay, well, what do I put in here? How does this work? These are artifacts. And you can put 2 Lightstones in every artifact. Okay, you can wear 2 artifacts at a time for a total of 4 Lightstones because there's 2 in each one. Okay. Lightstones give you combination benefit effects. Okay, so if you have 4 of the correct Lightstones, they give you a bonus effect, like yay, more damage or whatever, or defensive stats, whatever. As a new player, you're like, oh god, so what do I do? Predations are your best friend, okay? And you can put 4 predations in your gear. These are like 5 million silver on the central market. Like they're literally nothing. You can hit escape, go to the market, type in predation. Look at that, 5 million a piece. So like as a new player, you've got this. You're done, right? You can get 4 of these, no big deal. The tougher thing is going to be to get the iridescent. Oh my god. This is really expensive. This is pretty expensive. I do recommend acquiring at least one of these. But you don't have to do it right away. You can just do 4 predations is fine. When you're a brand new player, no big deal. But you are going to want to get this iridescent at some point. Okay? Because 3 predations and an iridescent give you a lot of monster damage. It's good for any grind zone in the game, and you can kind of really ride on this until you hit some of the upper level grind zones we're going to talk about later. Okay, at this point, you're basically just going to start grinding. I have an infinite potion guide. You can check that out. I basically go through, even if you're not necessarily looking to get an infinite potion, I go through every single one of the low-end grind zones in the game for the most part. Where the rotations are, what is going to drop there, how good the money is, etc. And like the best strategies for grinding there, so you can check that out. As you're grinding, you're going to pen your Tuvala. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. You're also going to finish something called the Ulukita questline, not the Uwukita questline. That's for Final Fantasy weebs. Okay, it's the Ulukita questline. Okay, you can find it. Hit the O tab, go to main, and it'll be in here. I'm not sure if my DK's done it already. She probably has. Unhide completed. There it is. It'll look like this. It's 76 quests. It takes like 2 hours or so, but the very end of the quest is extremely important because it gives you, it's going to give you this thing. Woo! Ator's Power Stone. See, chat's paying attention. All right, this is the best alchemy stone in the game that you can get for free, and you're gonna sit on it until you get your Vell's Heart. So like, this is the way to go. You can just get it through questing. I recommend doing this while you're on. Oh, not that one. I recommend doing it while you're on seasonal. If your question is, hey, should I enhance it with the Blessed or the Exalted? The answer is no. Do that. You don't do that. Okay, you leave it at base. No big deal. Okay, you leave it at base. Okay. Now, you have full pen Tuvala. You have your predations on. This is looking good. Okay, this is looking good. Your 550 gear score. You're gaming. You're ready to graduate seasonal. What now? Every time you graduate seasonal on a character, you get what's called a seasonal reward. Okay, you're gonna get something called a seasonal reward. It's a pen Capotia of your choice. Okay, you're going to choose the necklace. But what about the necklace? The ring is the necklace. Okay, don't even look at the other ones. Morons, pick the other ones. Okay, you're gonna pick the necklace. All right, every time you're gonna pick the necklace. Now, to be clear, you're like, wait, so what if I have another seasonal ticket? And you do. You should have 2 seasonal tickets when you start, so you can run through seasonal on another character. And by the way, it's way faster because you can skip the main story the second time through and just get power level to 60. Bada bing, bada boom, and then graduate right away, basically. So you should be able to pick a second pen Capotia very quickly. All right, this one is gonna be the belt. Okay, you're gonna pick the pen Capotia belt. Wow, number up good. Oh my god, 252 AP, crazy. If you're gonna ask me, you say, but Blue, should I be staying on seasonal for longer to benefit from the seasonal awards? No. Okay, don't do that. When you can graduate from seasonal, you have everything at pen. Just graduate. Do not wait. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And the reason is, when you graduate from seasonal, you're gonna hit your Y menu. You're gonna hit your Y menu, and the game is gonna give you, I don't know, it's gonna give you a free pen Blackstar of your choice. A free pen Blackstar of your choice. It's also gonna give you a Tet Blackstar of your choosing. Okay? You're gonna get a pen Blackstar and a Tet Blackstar of your choice. Which one do you choose? This is an extremely important part of the video, so I'm gonna type it out on the screen too so that nobody f***s this up. Hold on. So, which pen Blackstar do you choose? If you are an awakening class, okay, if you've settled on an awakening class, you need to pick the awakening Blackstar. Okay. And I'm gonna type it. Okay. And if you're a new player and you don't understand what the difference is, this is your main hand, this is your awakening, this is your offhand. Okay. This is your offhand. If you're both, if you walk up to somebody and you say, I don't know what pronoun I am, no big deal. You're picking the main hand Blackstar. Okay, you're gonna pick the main hand one if you roll both of them. Okay, if you're like, yeah, I love Succession, but I love Awakening too, you're gonna pick the main hand one. Okay, you're gonna pick the main hand one every time in that case. The only time you're picking Awakening if you're dedicated to an Awakening class. Okay, Awakening, you're picking the pen Blackstar for Awakening, and then whatever one you pick the pen for, you're picking the Tet for the other one. Okay. The Tet for the other one. When do you pick the offhand Blackstar? That's a great question, chat. When you're okay, morons do that. Don't ever pick the offhand Blackstar. There's no reason ever to do that for any reason. Okay, do not pick the offhand main Blackstar, the Blackstar. Okay, don't do that. It's kind of like when you're building your carrot and you think, Mom, I want to be a balance. She's like, oh my God, but we went to church for so long as a kid. We're just such a Christian house. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this happened. Yeah, so many people make mistakes. It's insane. Okay, so don't build a balanced carrot. Do not pick the offhand main Blackstar. Okay, it is what it is. Even on Shy, oh my God. Okay, so especially if you're a Shy. Oh, and this is really important. I'm going to addendum this. If you're Shy is picking the pen main hand. Okay, because you really don't have a choice. It's not going to let you pick the Awakening. Okay. Archer, though, Archer is going to give you a choice. And Archers are inherently stupid. They don't even know which pronoun they're using to describe them as characters, which is insane in this video game. You're picking the Awakening. every time. You're picking the Awakening one every single time on Archer. The main hand is basically useless on Archer. Okay, it's useless. You're picking the Awakening every time. On Scholar, Archer is he, him. Your Archer is he, him. But other Archers are she, her, and we're totally okay with that. We're very accepting. We're very accepting. Okay, so Scholar. Scholar, in my opinion, most of your damage comes from Awakening, but you're gonna use both. So I think that the pre-Awakening, like your main hand, is probably better on Scholar, because you use both of them kind of equally, and the main hand gives you more benefits. So you're probably gonna be better off with the pen main hand on a Scholar. Okay. Okay, so now we know which pen Blackstar to choose. So we're gonna pretend that I'm an Awakening Witch. Actually, we're gonna pretend that I'm a Succession Witch, because I think that more people are gonna be choosing the pen Blackstar main hand than anything else. Okay, and then that means that we're gonna get a Tet Blackstar on our Awakening. And this is free. The game just gives it to you. And you can see we're already at the 261 bracket. Oh my god, 572 gear score, and we're just getting out of the gate. You guys would be surprised. People can hit this in 2 days. I mean, realistically, if you're brand new to the game, it might take you a week or two to reach this point to like finish seasonal for the first time, but like this is gonna all happen very quickly. The next thing you're gonna get is the game's gonna start giving you pen Capotias. Okay, so you get one of them from the coelacanths in the top right of your screen. You're gonna click the Manage Currency tab. It's right here. Okay. The Manage Currency tab, you're going to click this. You're going to do AFK fishing on your seasonal. You're going to do that all the time. You're going to click on the coelacanth button, and you're going to trade in for 3 of these. This is the exchange. Okay. The game is going to give you base Capotias basically everywhere in your Y menu. It's going to be login rewards, everything. You're going to have all kinds of base Capotias, okay? You use these to guaranteed enhance a base Capotia to pen, basically. They're going to give you a Tri Capotia in your Y tab. Actually, yeah, that's where you're going to get this from. You need to go from Tri to Tet to Pen with this. You need 7 of these to get to Tet. You need 14 of them to get to Pen. You'll notice you can turn this in 3 times. That's going to give you 21 total stones. That's a free pen Capotia. Okay, so in your Y menu, they're going to give you a Tri Capotia somewhere for something. Complete. There it is. Nope, that's level 64. Don't worry about that. It's down here probably. So it was a really long time ago. Here we go. Right here. The game's gonna give you your choice of a pen Capotia. You can choose the earring or the ring. It doesn't really matter. I would recommend the ring in most cases. Just pick the Tri, but you can roll it to whatever Capotia you want. So even if you pick the wrong one, don't fret. That's what Jetina is here for. Jetina will help you with this. So, but I recommend the ring. Okay, so now we have our pen Capotia ring. Bada bing, bada boom. He's in it. Thanks, chat. Thank you, chat. All right, so now you have your pen Capotia ring. Amazing. Okay, here we go. The game is also gonna give you a pen Capotia earring. You're gonna get a 62, level 62, you're gonna get a Tri ring, and level 63, you're gonna get a Tri earring. Okay, and the game is gonna give you those dreamy crystals of balance or whatever that you enhance them with. They're like down here, these. They're gonna give you this. Okay, they're gonna give you enough of them to get one of them to pen. Just make a pen earring this time, easy peasy. So now you've turned from a Tuvala Timmy. Now you're no longer Tuvala Timian anymore. You're now Capotia Carl. Okay, that's what we call it. You're Capotia Carl. All right. You're wondering why this necklace is kind of lit up like this. It's because there's a cup on it. You can buy that from the marketplace. I highly recommend doing that. You can buy it for like 150 million. If you type in cup. It basically enchants your accessory, not enhance, enchants your accessory with extra abilities. In this case, it's the Cup of Arid Moonlight. It gives your necklace 150 HP for like 100 million. It's a joke. You should definitely do it. It's really good. The other cups we're gonna wait on. I'm not gonna tell you to do that quite yet. All right, now we're Capotia Carl. Woo! Now you're gonna finish the Magnus. You're going to finish the Magnus questline. And to be clear, you may have already done this because I kind of glossed over it before. As you're finishing the main story, you really want to finish the Magnus questline as quickly as you can because the Magnus is going to give you 1 free pen armor of your choice. And which one are you going to choose from the Magnus? It's Red Nose every time. If you chose the Dim Tree, please go play Maple Story. You're an idiot. Okay. If you pick any of the other armor sets, like if you pick the helmet, the gloves, or the boots, that's totally fine. It's not the end of the world. In my opinion, you can either choose the red nose or you can choose the Beg's gloves. Both of them have advantages. The advantage of the dim tree, the advantage of the red nose is that what you're gonna have to do with these things is you're gonna have to put these little eggs in them called Khafras. Okay. Khafras. So you're gonna have to put thousands of these little guys in here. You can see they're pretty cheap, but you're gonna need tens of thousands of these things. Okay, you're gonna have to put these little Khafras stones inside this armor piece. You're gonna jack it up to Khafras level 10. Okay, you're gonna get it all the way to Khafras level 10. You're just gonna keep dumping Khafras into it. It's guaranteed every time. Okay, the dim tree requires more Khafras to get to C10. We don't know why. Here we are. Dim tree requires more Khafras to get to level 10 than red nose, and since you're going to transition off of it pretty quickly, you want to use the red nose. And so the advantage of picking the red nose armor here is that you're going to save yourself money in Khafras. Okay. Now, I want to be clear that if you did accidentally pick the dim tree, you are a moron, but you should just Khafras the dim tree to C10 because trying to sell it and then buy a red nose is not. You're going to lose too much money on the transfer. It's not worth doing. So don't do that. So you choose the red nose. Alternatively, you can choose the Begs. The advantage of taking the Begs gloves is that this is the very first piece of gear you're going to want to get to C10. And the very first one you're going to want to turn into the dead god. You're going to graduate. Once it hits C10, you're not going to go to C20. You're going to keep it at C10 and you're going to turn it into dead god. Woo! It's these shiny looking gloves. Fun. And the advantage of getting the pen Begs is that you're not going to delay putting Khafras into your gear. And the flame for doing this, overall, it'll be the cheapest of the 4 armor pieces. So you can progress marginally faster if you take the Begs, but then you're going to have to get the red nose through another means, which is totally fine. But if you pick the red nose, that's what ideally, that's what you pick. And then the Begs gloves you can get through the guaranteed Jetina. Pen is fine. Both of them you're going to have pretty quickly. So they're kind of interchangeable. You don't really want to take the helmet, and you definitely don't want to take any of the boots because that's the most expensive one to turn into dead god. Okay. So again, from the Magnus, you're either taking pen red nose or you're taking the pen Begs. Either or, it's not going to matter too much, but I do recommend the red nose. Okay, so you've done your Magnus questline. You have your pen armors. Amazing. Now you're going to do something called the Jetina guaranteed pens. Okay, you're going to start doing the guaranteed pen Jetinas. This is Jetina right in front of me here. I'm standing in Belia right here, right in front of Jetina here. You would just talk to Jetina, and she's got a lot of quests for you to pick up. There's 3 quests here. You got your weekly for imperfect beings. These concentrated crystals, you need to be doing these weeklies every week. You need to do them right away. As soon as you see this guide, you need to start doing these because they're gated by 7 days. And this will help you get your pens faster. These are these are so easy to get. These are a joke to get. You will have them as a new player. You'll be able to basically auto-complete this quest really fast. And you can only accept it every 7 days. And it's the limiting factor for being able to get your concentrated or your pen boss gear. So you need to try to start doing these weeklies really quickly. When you go to do your guaranteed quests, you're gonna keep the guaranteed pen armor quests. You're gonna go back and talk to Jetina again. She'll have all the quests there that you can do. And the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna do your gloves quest. Okay. Now we're gonna reach the part of the guide. It's okay, well, wait. Do I pick evasion or I pick damage reduction? Everyone is super split on this. It's Democrat, Republican. You can't go, or you can absolutely f this up. Okay, so depending on what your class is, you're gonna choose different armor sets. Okay, so I'm gonna explain to you which armor set each class should be using because it's pretty cut and dry now. There's evasion and there's damage reduction. Okay. And that's an excellent question in chat. Also, if you have no interest in PvP, you never want to go evasion as well. No, that guy's don't listen to him. He is a complete moron. It used to be in BDO that damage reduction was significantly better in PvE because it gave 25 more accuracy just for no reason. That's not not a thing anymore. Evasion gives the same now. They've rebalanced it. So in PvE, there are certain spots in the game where damage reduction is going to feel stronger. And then there are other spots in the game where evasion is going to feel stronger. There are currently slightly more spots where damage reduction is a little bit stronger, and then it's really not going to matter either way in PvE. The developers have already stated multiple times they're trying to basically make it even in PvE across the board. So like whether you choose evasion or damage reduction is not a choice for PvE. Both of them are going to be super viable in PvE. The developers are going to make sure of it. Okay. In PvE, you're really choosing this for PvP. Even if you never want to PvP, you should still choose the correct build for your path. You should still choose the correct build for your path. And so Witch and Wizard are both going to build evasion because they have evasion passives. And generally speaking, if you don't know which one to choose, if you know your class has evasion passives, you're going to build evasion on that class. If your class does not have evasion passives, well, you're going to build damage reduction. But they've changed a lot of these passives very recently. And so again, this list is going to be updated circa November 7th, 2024. There's always going to be a debate whether or not to go evasion or damage reduction on your class. There's always going to be people with mental illness on the internet telling you what to do. Okay, telling you how to vote, telling you which way to build, telling you which character to build, whatever it is. Okay, you need to understand that the way the developers balance their game, they are trying to perfectly balance PvE so that evasion and damage reduction are equal basically across the board. And so far, they've done a much better job of that the last 6 to 12 months. So far, feels really good. So anyone that says damage reduction is objectively better in PvE is spouting what they know from years ago. Okay. So like you need to build what your class is intended to build for PvP. If your class has evasion passives on it, you need to build evasion. Even if they're small, you still build evasion passives. If your class is no evasion passives or is a block class, you're building damage reduction no matter what. No matter what. Okay. I'm telling you this is kind of like an unbiased take on what to build on a class. These classes have evasion passives and should be built evasion. These classes are damage reduction passives and should be built with DR. There's always going to be some moron out there that says Shy should be built with damage reduction. He's a complete idiot. Do not listen to anything that people like that say. Okay? You need to just understand for yourself. Do not let the mainstream media tell you. I guess I'm kind of the mainstream media for BDO, but like, let the mainstream media tell you what to build. Don't let the idiots tell you what to build. Okay. So now we're back on the build path. This is a witch, so we're gonna build evasion, like I recommended. All right. We're building evasion on the witch. So if you're gonna build evasion, you're gonna go Liebers and you're gonna go Muskins. Woo! Okay. Evasion is Liebers Muskin. Okay, Liebers are your gloves, Muskins are your shoesies. Okay, and for DR, you're gonna go Begs and Uragons, or as the community affectionately calls them, Uwugons. Okay, Uwugons. All right, so we're a witch, so we're gonna be focused on building the Liebers first. The boots we're actually gonna wait on. We're actually gonna wait on the boots. The first guaranteed pen you're going to take from Jetina is you're going to get your gloves. And if you got your gloves from the Magnus, you're going to get the chest piece. And you're going to take Red Nose. You will never take Dim Tree, regardless of what build you are. Regardless of what build you are. Okay? So this is the first guaranteed pen. All right? I'm actually going to change these to Tets now so that we understand when we're supposed to pen each of these. Okay, because you can change these through Jetina. The Tet Muskins, Tet Griffins are exactly the same as Pen Tuvala. They're equivalent in every way. Okay. First guaranteed pen is here. The second guaranteed pen should be your helmet, in my opinion. Okay. So now you have 3 pen armor pieces. We're looking good. We're looking good. And you have a lot of AP on. All right. Right around this point is when you want to do your journals. Okay. And what are your journals? You should sit down. Just understand we're all going to be praying for you. Okay? Thoughts and prayers. This is when you're going to clean your room. This is when you're going to clean your room. That's what we call it in the community, is cleaning your room, is making sure all your journals are done. These adventure logs are going to give you a shitload of stats that you must get as a new player. They're basically required extra quests that take a lot of time, that they're technically free. That's how people are going to sell it to you, is that it's so free. So free. The first journal that you're going to do is Igor Bartali's, and you're going to watch the AP DP go up. Watch this. Bam. Look how much stats you're going to get for just doing a quest line. It's crazy. After that, the really important ones to get done are Deeves, obviously. You're going to do Heralds, Dorum Morgrams. I don't give a shit what order you do these in. Okay. Fugars is like whatever. Okay, but you need to do as many of these as possible. Particularly, these Land of the Morning Light ones are really easy because you get them for doing the Land of the Morning Light questline. Okay, so there's a good chance that you already have some of these done. Okay, and that's fine. Please understand that those are not the only Land of the Morning Light journals that you're going to have to do. Eventually, you're going to do what many consider as the worst journal in the entire game. And that's the other Land of the Morning Light one. And you can't skip it either because it gives you 20... Gives you 20 accurate. Oh, wait, no, it gives you the 1 DP. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. You're gonna go around, you're gonna find these chests. It's gonna be awesome. The developers thought that it would be cool to send us on a scavenger hunt. Yeah, they were like, oh, why don't we like have them go around and find all these chests? And then Jay said, yeah. And then the developer said, what if we had them do it 285 times? And Jay said, why not 300? Okay. Have fun. We're praying for you. Anyway, clean your room. All right, clean your room. And you'll notice that your gear score now is 613. Okay, we're just going to assume that your journals get done right around the 600 gear score marker, 590 to 600. That's when you're going to have get this done. Okay, right in here. All right, you notice you have 280 AP. That is 1 AP off of a bracket. What's a bracket? Oh my God, let's start talking about it because that's very important. Hidden AP brackets BDO. Let's take a look at them. BD Foundry. Sure. Where they at? Here we go. So every time you hit a certain AP level, you get a certain amount of hidden AP based on what your actual sheet AP is. Okay. So right now, our sheet. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry to disturb you. She's so cute. She is. Right now, our AP is 280. So let's see. 280, 148 bonus AP. 148, but if we just get one more AP, we get 7 hidden AP. Big bracket. That's a massive bracket. That's huge, right? So when I talk about hidden AP brackets, when I talk about brackets, this is what I'm talking about. Because you're not just getting 1 AP. You're getting 7 or 8 AP just for getting that one piece of gear or getting that one upgrade. All right. So I'm basically going to be trying to put you in a position where you're hitting the critical brackets right as you want to go grind at these major spots. Okay. Right now you need 1 AP, which kind of sucks. Because we're not going to be focused on AP for a little while. We're not going to be focused on AP for just a wee bit. You can make a Kharazad at this point. I know that's going to sound crazy, but if you want to get to 281, you can craft a base Kharazad and you're done. You don't even have to enhance it. So you're going to get base Kharazads. These cost like 2 to 3 billion silver at maximum to get base Kharazads. Okay, that's going to give you 283, and you're going to be fine. Okay, you're going to sit here on this, all right? Now, it used to be at this point in the VOD, right around here, we would do something, people would recommend to you something called the Jetina pen accessory questline. It's very important to understand that because the developers are stupid, that is completely useless. Do not do that. Jetinas are not worth it anymore. It's going to cost you about 10 or 11 billion silver, and you're going to get a downgrade from the Kharazad. So, yeah, don't do Jetinas anymore. You're going to craft the base Kharazad. You can craft a couple of them, sit on your pen Capotias for now, and you'll be fine. Right now, we're going to be looking at our DP. But the only reason I'm telling you to get the Kharazad is because they're so cheap. Those are such cheap AP, and it gets you over the top of the next bracket. You're looking good right now. You're looking really good. You will not have to do this. If you choose the Awakening one, you won't even need the Kharazad, because Pen Awakening Blackstar gives you 2 more AP than the main hand. So if you're in Awakening, you don't even have to worry about getting Kharazad yet at this point. But we're on the succession path, their main hand path. And that's what I'm demonstrating. Okay, at this point, you need to be putting Conference into your gear, okay? And I know you're like, wait, I didn't pen my boots. That's very intentional. Don't pen your boots yet. You sit at 3. It's very costly to pen the last piece of gear, so we're just going to sit at 3 for now. And you're going to do guaranteed. 2 guaranteed pens are pretty cheap overall. They're definitely going to be cheaper than you're going to find them on the marketplace. The last one, you're going to leave it Tet. I wouldn't even bother reforming it for now. And we're leaving the Kutum where it is for now as well. You can do reform for Kutum. You can, you know what? I will go ahead and tell them, go ahead and do the Kutum. This is a good time to get your Kutum done. This is 3 billion silver, basically 4 billion maybe silver to get to pen Kutum. And you can also reform for Tuvala it for like 2 billion silver. This is a joke, right? It's really easy. It gives you AP, it gives you DP. You can't really go wrong, right? And now you're at the 285. Now you're at 285, which I believe is another bracket. It is. It is another bracket. So just a couple billion here or there, and you're gaming. There's no more distos to worry about anymore. There's no more big jumps anymore. This is much, much easier than players had it before this. Okay. So now you're going to do C6 on your pen armors. Okay. You're going to put all of these at C6, and you'll notice how quickly your DP comes up. And that's a very important thing to understand in BDO, is that you can get DP a lot more cheaper, or a lot cheaper than you can get AP. Okay, basically across the board, AP is going to cost you a fortune. And then DP is like, yeah, whatever. You're just going to throw Conference at it. It'll be okay. Okay, the first piece of gear you're going to turn into Dead God is going to be your gloves. That's because you need to hit C10 on your gloves, and then you're going to need something called a flame. I think it's like the Flame of Honking or some shit. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Jesus. Okay. You're going to need something called a flame. This is the Flame of Despair. This is the chest piece. You'll notice it's about 1 billion silver. The Flame of Frost is about 2 billion silver. And then the Flame of Hongkik. This is the gloves flame. This is only 235 mil. This is why I'm telling you to do your gloves first, because the gloves are the most cheap. So you get them to C10. And then the flame is super cheap. And then you put the chest piece next. And then I'll tell you to do the helmet. And then I'll tell you to do, there's one more flame. The Flame of Resonance. This is the boots one. You notice that's 10 billion. Very expensive. Very, very expensive. Okay, so we're going to do the boots or the gloves first. And we're in Evasion. Evasion is green. Okay, you say, Blue, what if I'm Stevie Wonder? What if I'm colorblind? Whatever. Just take your best guess, Stevie. Nobody cares. Okay, but you want the green one. Okay, if you are Evasion, you're taking the green shit. If you're damage reduction, you're taking the blue shit. Okay, you do this first. We're at 367 DP. I would say that this is good enough. This is fine. This is fine. What about hybrids? That's an excellent point. If you're going to go a hybrid build, I find it best to just go ahead and install MapleStory right now, or just go back and play RuneScape. It's a simpler game for you. You really can't f that up. And really, this you can't up either, but you've still found a way to mess this up, because at no point should you be going hybrid build for any reason whatsoever. If you find yourself running 1 blue and 1 green, please leave. I'm just kidding. Seriously though, they both need to be the same color. And if you f it up and you have 1 blue, 1 green, it's really easy to trade them once they're already dead gone. Okay, you can't exchange it. Yeah, you can't exchange them. And Jetinas as well. If you ever up the Jetina questline, and you're like, oh no, I took Libers instead of I took my Libers gloves instead of the bags. It's totally fine. You can just go to Tariff. There's an NPC in Tariff that allowed you to trade for whichever armor piece that you need. Okay, so if you do mess this up at some point, please just fix it. Okay, just fix it. Okay, now as you get, I will say that as you get Kharazad, it's going to unlock extra crystal sets. I do have a crystal guide, which I'm going to have to update, but it's going to open up these crystals at the bottom of your weapon slot. When you're a new player, you need to just equip Wan crystals, basically. Wan or Bon crystals. They're really cheap. Honestly, I would do Bon. because they're about 500 mil, and they're giving you 3 AP per slot. 3 AP per slot times 6 slots, or times 2 slots right now, because you only have 2 Kharazads. That's 6 AP. It's not bad at all. 6 AP for a billion silver, 1.2 bill, and they're gonna keep tanking. They're gonna go to min price. They just came out, so it is what it is. So you need to just be focused on AP for that bottom row of crystals. If you want to know what to build for the rest of your crystals, I recommend looking at my crystal guide. We're not going to talk too much about that. At this point in your gear, you absolutely need to be looking at upgrading these artifacts. This is when you need to be looking back at your artifacts, and you need to say, okay, it's time to upgrade these. And what you're going to upgrade them to is Kabuas. Okay, you're going to get Kabuas for both of these. Kabuas are super cheap now. Super cheap on the marketplace. They're like, oh my god, they're 4.6 billion. At this point in your gear, you're making over $1 billion silver an hour. This is a complete joke. You will have the money to buy Kabuas. It's not going to seem like it's all that much money, and it's a massive increase in gear score. Not because the numbers go up, but because it's 20 monster damage reduction, which helps you not die in PvE, which is important, and it gives you 7 AP to mobs with some stamina and some HP. These are incredibly good artifacts. At this point, you need to be on 3 predations and an iridescent, but it's time to start looking at which artifact, like, okay, well, what lightstones are better than this? So you have to get off your 3 predations and an iridescent, and you need to get onto an artifact set that is actually good. I'm just going to explain what the end game artifact sets look like. You're looking at, and chat is going to help me with this, but it's all out attack. All out attack is the best artifact set in the game. It's good everywhere. It's good on every class. You cannot go wrong, but it does make you squishier, so you need to bear that in mind. There's something called Crocodile Tooth, I think, that is really good. I think it gives back attack damage. It's not bad. There's Vicious Shadows, which is really good. This is fine. So you can go this route over here. The limiting factor that you're gonna have for Lightstones is you're gonna need strikes. You're gonna need strikes. Strike Lightstones are difficult to get a hold of, although they're a little bit easier nowadays. I actually think that they're actually not bad anymore, at least compared to what they used to be. Well, honestly, yeah, no, strikes are really easy. Yeah, no, so this is all irrelevant. You're just gonna go all out attack and nobody's gonna care. Okay, so you need to pick up 2 strikes for all out attack. It's kind of an expensive setup. You don't have to do that right away, but like getting 2 strikes is, the more strikes you have, the more Lightstone setups you can have. It's just the way that it goes. Okay. So all out attack, Crocodile Tooth, Vicious Shadows, these are all good. Things that give back attack damage, things that give special attack damage are always going to be good. You're also looking at species damage, so comma damage, demi-human damage, and human damage. These are 3 great ones. These are a lot cheaper than the strikes are going to be. But you kind of need all 3 sets. Like if you love to grind at Gif and Raza, comma damage every time. The comma Sylvia damage is going to be super good. But you're also going to want demi-human damage if you're grinding at orcs, right? And you want human damage if you're going to grind at giants. And Honglim base, I think, is demi-human. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Honglim base and the Dokebi forest are both demi, I think. How do you check whether or not each spot is a certain species? All right, so when you hit a mob, at the very top of the screen here, right there, that little icon right there tells you whether or not it's human or demi-human. Okay? That little icon tells you whether it's human or demi-human. Okay, that one is demi-human. Okay, the little orc-looking one. There's a hooded figure one. That's the human damage one. And then the Comicilia is just 2 green antlers. You can't go wrong with that one. Okay. There's also like there's like one more. There's like a species damage one, but you don't worry about that. Nobody gives a shit about that. So anyway, the advantage of going comma, demi, and human damage is that these go over the caps at grind zones. Like the specialty damage goes over caps at grind zones. So like if you reach the AP cap for orcs, and then you have a demi-human set for orcs, you will have more damage and kill the mobs faster because it goes over the potential AP cap at the monster zone. The advantage of all-out attack is it works at every single spot in the game, and it helps you reach those really high AP caps that you wouldn't be able to reach anyway. Animal. Yeah, okay, yeah, so there's animal. All right, so you need to be upgrading your Lightstones at this point. I'm just going to put all out attack in here. 2 rage and 2 all out attack will make, or 2 rage, 2 strikes will make all out attack. Here we go. Now you look all pretty and stuff. 367 AP, or I mean 367 DP. And I will say that this is where the guide is going to start to diverge from my previous guides, because now, and this is going to sound crazy, you are not going to build distortion earrings anymore. That's right. You're not going to build distortion earrings anymore. It is not going to happen. Instead, you're going to start transitioning to Kharazad accessories. Now, in order for a Kharazad to have more AP, you'll see that the Pen Capotia actually has more AP than a Kharazad. They only cost about 2 to 3 billion to craft. They only cost about 2 to 3 billion silver to craft, and they have 1 AP less than a Pen Capotia would have. But you can hit them to pry really easily. Like when you get the Kharazad, you should basically hit them to pry. It's free. You might fail once or twice, but they don't disappear. They don't break. And this is part of the reason I'm going to tell you to go to Kharazad really quickly. And I'm not going to tell you to build demos. I'm not going to tell you to build anything else. This is a much better player experience, I think, for a mid-game players to constantly have progression instead of downgrading, having your accessories disappear, etc. But like the Kharazads, you should basically sit at pry with them, and like they're basically Pen Capotias. So the moment that you want to get off of these Capotias, you can just go to Kharazad and put them at pry. Okay, you can just depart Kharazad whenever you get a 2 or 3 billion silver. You can switch a Capotia out for a pry Kharazad, and then you'll have again, you're like, well, why am I doing that? That's exactly the same AP. You'll have crystal slots that you can use. And you can use the Wand or the cheapest crystals. There's Wand, Bond, and Jin. Jin are the best. This is what Jin looks like. These are the best. They give 4 AP. I think Bond gives 3, and I think Wand gives 2 AP. And they're like 50 mil. It's a piece of cake. These cost like $1 billion a piece. You know, you don't have to buy them up front, but like you're opening up these crystal slots, which is really, really good. So there are things in this game that you can add to your accessories. We alluded to it a little bit earlier. They're called cups. You enchant your accessory and it gets upgrades. And Kharazad has its own like special cup thing. You don't need to worry about putting cups on your accessories except for the necklace maybe, because that's really cheap. But like until you get to Kharazad, so the moment that you start transitioning to Kharazad, I recommend that you put a cup on your Kharazad. Okay, there's only one thing to do. Okay, there's only one cup to choose from. There are no more choices anymore. So again, we used to have build diversity in BDO. The way the developers are going, the only build diversity we have are those end game crystal slots that we talked about for Kharazad. These bottom slots here. Everything else will be uniform across all players. Will build exactly the same thing, with the exception of these 6 crystal slots here. And then whether or not your shit is green or blue here. But aside from that, these cups cost like 2 billion silver or so, and they give you 125 HP and 3% critical hit damage. Okay, on the rings. It's insane. On the necklace, it's just giving you 300 HP, which is really good. On the earrings, it's giving you 3 AP and 100 stamina, so those are really good. And again, as you transition these, you should absolutely be doing this. Okay, and then the belt is going to give you I think 6 or 7 damage reduction and some AP. So yeah, you need to do this as you transition into Kharazad. You should just dump a little bit into upgrading this because it's going to help your PvE experience. It's going to help your PvP experience. You can't go wrong with it. All right, so as you transition over to Kharazad, this is right around the time that you need to look back at your weapons and you need to look at, okay, I kind of want a Garmoth heart. I kind of want Vell's heart. I kind of want my Kutum's heart. The first thing you need to do is you need to get a Kutum's heart for your Kutum. And you can do this kind of at any point. You don't have to do this at this point. You can do this a lot sooner. Kutum's heart is really cheap. It's 130 million and it gives you 525 HP. So if you're having trouble surviving in a grind zone, 140 million for like half of 1,000 HP is pretty good, right? Is pretty damn good. So putting a Kutum's heart on your, I think it's an earth-shaking dagger. I think that's what that is. Yeah, an earth-shaking Kutum, and then you can put Karanda's heart on this one. Karanda's Heart is really good. It gets Storm Devoured Blackstar. Yep. Karanda's Heart is also really cheap. It's 100 mil. It gives you an extra crystal slot, essentially. When you put the Garmoth's Heart in here, Garmoth's Heart is better. You're going to need 2 Garmoth's Hearts. You're going to put a Garmoth's Heart on your main hand, and you're going to put it, on your Awakening hand, and you're going to put it on your offhand. Okay? But these are kind of placeholders until you have the money and the time to get a Garmoth's Heart. Garmoths are pretty rare, and they're extremely expensive. I don't recommend putting orders on these quite yet. These are 17 billion a piece. And you can see that the only thing that they're really going to give you is more HP and stuff. It used to be that it was a little bit more influential with the special attack evasion. That's not a thing anymore. But for now, you can kind of just sit on the Kutum's Heart and the Karanda's Heart. You can get that a lot sooner if you want to, but like you should definitely be looking at that. This is right around the time you're going to want to replace your Ator's Power Stone with a Vell's Heart. This is really hard to get. Vell's is sought after by every single new player. It's the best alchemy stone in the game. There's always orders on it. So the sooner you get an order down on it, the better off you're going to be. I would say 1 or 2 sell a day. Maybe you get like 3 or 4 a day, but like you can see there's 40 orders. It's going to take you a week or 2 probably to get this. Alternatively, you can, there happens to be Vell's concentrated magic on the market right now, which is crazy. Definitely both of these are really good. When you go to buy your Vell's Heart, if concentrateds are on the market, just buy the concentrated. You turn it into Vell's Heart for like 1 or 2 billion. It's not like it's probably 2 or 3 billion, to be honest. Probably 2 to 3 billion. You're gonna be able to turn a concentrated magic into a Vell's Heart, and there's guides out there for that. But like, yeah, these people are stupid. I don't know why you would put there's somebody is watching this stream right now. Somebody is watching that had 41 orders 2 seconds ago. That had 41 orders 2 seconds ago. That guy was like, wait, the concentrated is on the market? Yeah, you're welcome. Yep, and one of these is gone. Yep, and one of these is gone. Yeah. So, you want to get your Vell's Heart at this point. It is expensive. It's your first really big expense that you're going to have to do. You definitely want to do it. Okay. Then you're going to slowly transition all of your accessories to Kharazad, because again, this is not very expensive. And you can hit them to Duo just as easily as you can hit them to Prime. Duo is a complete joke as well. You could probably hit Duo without having to repair it a single time. Duo is a complete joke. So like getting these to Duo is totally fine. You don't need Cron stones. You kind of just tap these. And again, they're already better than Capotia's. Look at how our AP is. 292 AP at this stage is wild. Wild. At this stage, you're grinding at places like Giants. You're grinding at places like Honglim Base is the best mid-game grind zone in this game as of November 7th, 2024. It's not up for debate. It's no longer just grind orcs and be done. And I'll probably redo my where to grind guide soon too. But like Honglim is amazing, and that's where you're grinding, and you can get the Kharazad like crystals there too, which is really good. Anyway, you're gonna exalt your Vell's Heart when you get it. That's like 6 billion. You're gonna get 4 DP, which is like really good. Okay, and then you're probably gonna go ahead and get your second Fallen God, and you're gonna put it at Duo. Never stop it. If you get to Fallen God and you don't enhance it, it's because you're a moron. Duo is free. Duo is so free, right, chat? Duo is free, okay? Duo is free. You're gonna get your Fallen God to Duo when you get there. Try is definitely harder. You're not even gonna use Cron stones. You're just gonna get your Fallen God to Duo, okay? So you're gonna get your second Fallen God. You're at 377 DP. This is gonna put you in position to do a lot of the higher end spots in the game, and you're looking very good. Now we're gonna increase your AP level basically as hard as we can to try to push you over the top of 301. So you're gonna start pushing your Kharazads to Tet. Okay. And again, this is not super hard. Tet Kharazad, I got full Tet Kharazad in a day with no money available. Like Tet Kharazad and no Cron. I didn't use any Cron stones. No Cron stones. A lot of people tell you to Cron from Try to Tet, and you can do that if you want to, but like hitting Tet Kharazad is really, really not very hard. Okay, and these are equivalent to pen accessories for the most part. Okay. Tet Kharazad belt, probably the best increase. Let's put this back at duo, see what happens. Nope. So you're gonna need 4 Tet Kharazads to get you over the 301 bracket. And we're looking peachy here. We're looking peachy here. Okay. Now at this point, now that you're over the top of 301, we're gonna get you some more DP. We're gonna get you your Libresco. We're gonna finish that up. We're gonna put that at duo. Okay. And again, you still haven't even penned your boots. Okay, because that's how expensive it is to pen your boots. It's actually cheaper to get duo Libresca overall. Like to get to C10 on your helmet than it's gonna be to get your boots to pen, because the boots at pen are gonna cost you about 16 to 20 billion. Unless they've come down. Let's see how much Muskins are now. Oh, they've come down. No, they're 10 billion. They're 10 billion. But even still, the problem with the pen Muskins is that the flame is another 10 bill, so it's 20 billion to get the flame. So we're really not super concerned about that. You can go ahead and pen these when you need to. No, you don't really want to do this through Jetina. If this price is lower than about 12 billion, you don't want to do this through Jetina. I think the third Jetina pen costs right around 12 billion to make. It could be 10 to 12 billion. But like, I'm going to go on the high side. So if these are lower than about 12 billion, you can see that's where they're kind of hovering here. And that's why the price it sits here, is because the Jetina costs about this much money. So like, if this is lower than 12 bill, which is right now, you should just buy the boots. 11 bill in EU. Yeah, there's a reason that the market is stabilized there. Okay. So here we are at 302 AP. We're looking amazing. This is good. We have 3 dead gods. 387 DP. Now we're going to get to 305 AP. This is around the time that you want to... Well, I guess... Damn. 305 AP... Ooh, no. Nope. Okay, so... I think 305 AP, if you want to do it the cheapest way possible, is to put your other 2 Kharazads at Tet and then C7 your Kutum. This is definitely the easiest way to do it. It is guaranteed. You spend X amount of money, you get X gear score. It's free. It's also going to give you some DP. I want to point out, and it's at this point, when you start looking at throwing Conference in your offhand, you need to consider whether you're a DR or Evasion build. Okay? If you're an Evasion build, throwing Conference in your Kutum is fine, because you're going to use Kutum in PvP and PvE. If you're a damage reduction build, any of those DR classes, you're building DR, you're going to need both Kutum and Nuver. Nuver is the other offhand of the game. Nuver will be your offhand for PvP, and Kutum will be your offhand for PvE. So conferencing your offhand is not going to feel as good if you're a DR class. So like, I can understand if you don't want to throw conference into your Kutum because it's not going to help you in PvP as well. Like, okay, sure, if you don't want to do that, but this is definitely the safest way to get to 305 here. And then you're gonna have to pen your boots at this point. You pen the boots, you make your Ator shoes. You put them at duo, and you can see we're at 410 DP. This is crazy. This is insane. There's no more give and take with distos. There's no dynamic there. You're basically just going from Tuvala to Capotia to Kharazad as quickly as you can, and you're kind of progressing your Kharazad as you go. Everyone ends up, whether you're evasion or damage reduction, you're going to end up with this end game build right here. The only difference is if you're a DR build, these will be blue instead of green. That's literally the only difference. Aside from, again, you're going to put on a Nuver in PvP. Aside from that, everything else is exactly the same, so we don't have to walk back through it. The entire process is going to be the same the whole time. All right, what are we doing next? We're going to pen our Blackstar, right? We're going to pen the Blackstar. Here we go. Plus 70 is free. You're right. True. You can do that without losing durability. You're going to pen your other Blackstar. Boom. This is when you're going to pen your main hand or your Awakening Blackstar that you didn't take at the beginning of the game. Bam. Look at that AP increase. It's amazing. Okay. It's amazing. And now you're going to start going for, honestly, this is the point where you can go for Tri-Armors or C20 Kutum. Okay. Tri-Armors or C20 Kutum. All right. I personally like C20 Kutum because it's guaranteed. I don't need to worry about RNG. Okay? At least C15 Kutum. At least C15 Kutum because it gives you 1 AP and like 2 or 3 more DP. You see, or 2 more DP, I think. is really good. All right. But you are going to start trying your armors, and you're going to start pushing your Kharazads to pen at this point. Okay. I recommend just C15 Kutum is going to give you an AP and your DP. After this, you can look over if you're like, okay, I want more AP, because you don't really need any more DP at this point. You don't really need much more DP. But the reason I'm telling you to get it is because if you want to grind really high-end spots like Dekia 2, or even some of the Dekia 1 spots, yeah, you're going to need far more DP. You're going to need far more DP, which is why it is important. It kind of depends on where you're grinding at this point. If you really want to grind high-end spots, you should focus on DP. If you really want to grind like a lower spot, then you can push your AP a little bit, right? So, pen Kharazad. Bam. Look at that. Look at that. It's 2 AP. 2 AP, 1 AP. There we go. 309. 309 is the final really, really good Kutum bracket. The final really good Kutum bracket. So having 2 pen Kharazads and the rest of Tet, which are really easy. Tet's a joke. Pen is like the first kind of challenge you're going to find in the game. And so pen Kharazad is going to be 2 pen Kharazads. Boom, we're 309 Kutum. Okay, and after this, the AP brackets that we talked about before really drop off super hard. Okay, but the progression from this point is very simple. Okay, you're basically going to try all of your armors. Okay, you're going to push your Kharazad to Nuve at some point. Okay, you're basically just enhancing all of it. You're never trading off this gear ever again. You're just pushing AP and you're pushing DP at this point as hard as you can. As hard as you can. More AP will help you grind high-end spots with effectiveness, but more DP will help you survive at those spots. So you're kind of trading that off back and forth. It's kind of a preference, but you're never taking any of these gear pieces off ever again. Okay, ever again. When's it time for Sovereign? That's an excellent question. The moment that you get a pen Blackstar, or you start at the pen Blackstar, you should start going to world bosses. At Land of the Morning Light. You need to just start going to world bosses. You need to do your, 3 or 4 world bosses a week in Land of the Morning Light to get your 4 guaranteed flames a week. It's going to take you, I think, 6 months. 6 months to get your Sovereign weapons. You are not, I repeat, not going to buy another Blackstar to make your Sovereign weapon. You are going to get a flame. Okay, and then as you're enhancing your, right around the time that you probably get like pen Kharazad on your, right around here. Let's roll this back. Right around this moment, this is probably the moment where you're going to have, you're probably 6 months into the game at this point, your first Sovereign weapon is going to be available to you. You're going to have your first flame. And again, you have to go to 4 bosses a week, every single week for 6 months, basically. Right around this time is probably when you're going to get your first Sovereign weapon. You don't need it, though. And if you haven't been going to the bosses, it's going to take you longer. But if you do go to the bosses, you're going to get your flame. You're going to get all Path of Exile. Okay, I see. If you have been going to the bosses, again, if you're a pre-awakening, if you're a succession class, your first Sovereign weapon is going to be here. Okay. Boom, like this. And if you're an awakening class, your first one is going to be the awakening. So for me, I'm an awakening Dark Knight, I'm an awakening Witch. So you can see I took my first Sovereign weapon is Tet. Or it's an awakening. Okay, it's an awakening. And you see it's relatively low level. That's because I don't care. It's too many Cron stones. It's such a Cron grind. It's crazy. But Sovereign weapons are definitely the next progression step in your gear. I recommend putting it at Tet without Cron stone. You can get it to Tet with no Cron stones pretty easily, as long as you have some fail stacks. Or you can start Cronning from Tri to Tet, and then that's fine too. Pen Sovereign's relatively simple to get. So when you do get your Sovereign weapon, hopefully you can try to get it to Pen. That's optimistic, whatever. And then you're going to wait another 6 months, and then you're going to Sovereign the other one. Okay, but it's 6 months between getting these Sovereign weapons. It's gonna be a minute for you to get those Sovereign weapons done. Okay, but when you get them, you're gonna put them at pen. And then again, the whole time in that downtime, in that middle area where you're just going to bosses, you're progressing your Sovereign in the background, you're just gonna be pushing your Kharazads as effectively as you can up to Nuve. Just like this. Like this. Okay. And at this point in your gear, you're not allowed to do anything unless you use Cronstones. Every single piece of your gear except for the Kutum, which is probably C20 at this point. So every single piece of gear that you can push at this point requires Cronstones, and a lot of Cronstones, not a small amount of Cronstones. Your armors, your weapons, every single accessory, everything requires Cronstones now. So just bear in mind that the limiting factor here, guys, is going to be buying Cronstones. Now, how to get Crons? How to get Crons? My advice for getting Cronstones into the late game is one of two methods. If you're on EU, you're going to go ahead and move to America, because not only is it a better country, we also have outfits available on the marketplace. If you're on NA, you hit escape, you go to the marketplace like this, okay? You're gonna buy outfits off the marketplace that other stupid players are gonna sell to you. Okay. I don't even know where the pearl item, here we go. You need to pick an outfit and you just need to put orders down. This is the end game of BDO. Okay, you're gonna pick an outfit that you want to cron. Generally speaking, my advice for this is to pick a class that you hate. Okay, whatever class you can't stand, they're complete losers. Okay, pick their outfit and then cron it. And then every single time you get one of those and you cron it, you'll feel better about yourself, because you're taking away that outfit from somebody that would play that class normally. I chose Corsair because those players are morons and nobody likes those players anyway. Okay, but you're basically going to keep an order down on the marketplace at all points in time for outfits, and you can choose to do Cronstones in one of two ways. Either one, you can do the time gated wing, which is where you just wait for an order to fill on the marketplace incessantly, basically all the time. You're just waiting for orders to fill. Every time an order fills, you open the outfit out, you extract the Cronstones from it, and then you do your attempts. This is going to take a while. I have to be clear, even on North America, it's been 4 days and I have not gotten a single outfit. And it's about 800 crons an outfit or so. And each one of these attempts is going to take me about 2,000 crons. 1 to 2,000 crons. So let's say you're looking at like 2 to 3 outfits a click. Although I guess it's a little bit less with Kharazads, maybe 1 or 2 outfits a click. So like you can see how this is super time gated. This is why players don't like doing this. The other way to do this is to grief yourself. You walk up to the blacksmith, you say, "Hey, Tekkalon," he said, "Hi." Okay. You walk up from the blacksmith. The Cronstones from the blacksmith are 3 million silver a piece. You can buy them in unlimited quantities. Okay. So if you get them off the marketplace, they're cheaper. You're getting them way cheaper. You're getting like a full million per Cronstone cheaper usually. It's like 2 million cron instead of 3. So you can grief yourself and your time and buy unlimited of these. Or you can wait and do the time gated thing. This is why people don't like this cron progression, and why a lot of players are really unhappy with the game. But that's my advice. You're gonna do it one of those two ways. I'll probably just start vendor cronning because like I don't like the time gated stuff. It's very frustrating. An end game build in BDO is basically full deck, everything. Oh yeah, the Reforge stones. Okay, so as far as the Reforge stones go, there's a lot of different ways to go. It depends on which grind zone you're actually grinding at. If you get a lot of back attack damage in, like Olin's, for example, back attack damage is not bad at all. It's definitely kind of what you want to go for. Critical hit damage is also extremely good in PvE. And then I think there's an all AP one too. The all AP one is the one that a lot of people use. So like that's kind of the go-to. So you're running an all AP. You can run hit damage. You can run... You do not want to run air attack damage. Back attack damage is really good. Critical hit rate's kind of whatever. I'll be honest with you. I think that stone kind of sucks. Mainly because you're already sitting at 100% crit in PvE, like 95 to 100% of the time. So it doesn't really matter too much. Down attack damage is a choosy one, mainly because not every spot allows you to take advantage of down attack damage, but it is really, really good. If you want to go more defensive on this, I recommend if you're a damage reduction build, you just grab damage reduction. Okay, but if you want to go the safe route, you can go accuracy is solid as well. Black Spirit rage recovery is kind of garbage, unless you're talking about capped PvP, but like you're probably not going to be doing capped PvP with your sovereign weapons, although you never know with today's economy, you know what I mean, right? The HP is also really good. If you don't know whether to go DR or evasion, the HP is also really good. But the AP, the crit hit damage, the back attack damage, those are 3 really solid ones there. Okay. Okay, now, when it comes to crystals, again, I do have a crystal guide, but the end game for the Kharazad crystals, and that's what I'm going to focus on here, because this is kind of part of your build now, these cannot break. So once you slot them in, they can't break anymore. So you want to get Jin AP crystals. You need a full set of AP Jin crystals. So for PvE, you're running a full AP set. Okay, this is your PvE setup. I'm sorry, I'm going to roll this dice because it's going to upset people. Okay. You want a full AP set. For PvP, what you want to do is you want to hit your opponent. If you can't hit your opponent, you're going to put on an accuracy gem. If you still can't hit them, you put on another accuracy one. And you repeat this process until your opponent is dead. Okay? At maximum, you're probably only going to need 3 accuracy gems. So I recommend getting like 3 of them, and you should be able to kill any evasion build in the end game for the most part. Okay, but even in PvP, you're gonna like running the AP crystals is fine. If you're an uncapped PvP, you can run a full DR or a full evasion set is totally fine too. Uncapped PvP, especially if you're like if you're trying to be tankier, like as a shot caller, I would run a full evasion set on mine. Would be sick. Would be really, really nice. But like, that's if I wanted to keep my AP on, but still have some defensive stats. They're not bad, but like, overall, you're running AP or you're running accuracy offensively. The DR and evasion are not super great. There's a Black Spirit Rage increase one, and that one is only good in capped PvP. And you're going to want, if you do a lot of capped PvP with your guild or whatever, you're going to want 6 Black Spirit Rage increase stones, a set of those, and you just run that in PvE. You just run that in PvE, and then this would be your basically everything else slot, and then you have accuracy ones that you can kind of slot in for PvP as you go. So this is the end game for BDO. This is what it looks like. And again, we went over these Reforge stones. You just back attack, critical hit damage. Where's my AP? Accuracy. Max HP. Sure. Fine setup. Fine setups. Yeah, your armor end game is Tet. There are a lot of people that are going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about the DP build in BDO now, because Kharazad has kind of drawn that into question. Okay, Tet is the end game for armors. This is as end game as it gets. If you hit this point, I would encourage you to go outside. Yeah. There's PvP artifacts for damage reduction and evasion. These are the best in slot PvP artifacts. Put the DR ones on late game, and you only get these like 750 plus gear score. You put these on, okay? For only PvP. PvE, it's Kabua still. If you're a DR build, you put on the DR ones. If you're an evasion build, you put on the evasion ones. It's just that simple, okay? For DP builds, for full... oh, yeah. The final thing that you're going to do is you're going to build this. This is going to cost you as much as everything else does put together, potentially. Not true, but like it's going to be like 500 billion to a trillion silver to make one of these. Okay, and you're going to want 2 of them. So good luck. Good luck. If you're looking at the end game DP builds, I'm going to tell you the Pen Centaurs is still better than the Kharazad Crystal, and so is the River Necklace is still better than the end game Crystal. You're probably going to go for Exalted Resplendent Stone. Most people are not going to have the Exalted Splendid Stone, but, you know, it is what it is. I think that the Kharazad Crystal... If you put these evasion crystals on, you're going to lose 25 of your sheet AP. But you're going to gain 25 evasion, like displayed evasion, and then you're going to gain 23, like all evasion. So, like, overall, I think that's like... I'm pretty sure they stack. It wouldn't show separately if it didn't stack, but like that's 48 evasion. Okay. 48 evasion is a lot of evasion. But if you compare it to the Centaur belt, you're still getting 60 evasion with the Centaur belt, so it's better to have a Pen Centaurs on. And for this one, it's 51, right? Like 51 evasion, so you're definitely putting this on. I think Kharazad is better than the rings. Let me double check. Yes. So you should have Kharazad on instead of the haze ring is fine. You can wear your Kharazad in an end game DP build. I'm not sure about the earring. I think we checked this. If you have pen ethereals, it is still better. It is still better. So you're just gonna keep 4 Kharazads on with the evasion crystals for the Kharazad, and then you're going to do centaurs and lunar. Okay, you're gonna do centaurs and lunar. And this is what an endgame DP build looks like. Also, you're gonna have the all evasion set on. And I know what you're thinking. What about damage reduction, Blue? What if I want to go a full DR build? That's not really a thing. If you're doing a full DP build, the only really real way to play this is to do evasion. It's really just the only way to do it. And so you're gonna do the evasion. Yeah, you're gonna have an evasion offhand too. True. I believe for Witch it's the ultimate parrying dagger. For Shy, I believe it's the Rosar offhand. I have one. Yeah, you see I have a pen ultimate Rosar Vitklari. That shit's crazy. You're basically sacrificing all AP to get DP, essentially. Yeah, and your sheet DP is not going to be quite as high as before, but your overall evasion is going to be through the roof if you keep the Kharazad on there. If you keep the Kharazad on. Evasion crystals. Yeah, I go over that in my crystal guide. We're not going to cover that here. But yeah, you would run a full evasion crystal setup with like the defensive crystals and whatnot. And now we're back at the end game build for BDO. So at the end game, this is what your build looks like. And I know what you're all thinking. You only have a +7 Manos riding crop on. That is the based take at the end game. You don't enhance your riding crop at all because no one gives a shit about that. Okay. All right. Alrighty then. Guys, please remember to like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. Comment on the video. I love you guys. Goodbye, YouTube. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Ask questions in the comments. I'll answer them. I promise I watch it. Thank you, guys.